All right, it is 6 PM on June 29th, 2021, and we are going to open the special meeting of the village board public hearing. Do roll call, please.
Yep. I have trustees Chris Samples,
Here.
John Talbot,
Here.
William Luxinger,
Here.
Nathan Maz,
Here.
Jen Christensen. Here. Bill Motisi,
Here.
President Rick Worm,
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onabini. Here. I Clerk Sandy Maz, I'm here. And I have attorneys Margaret Kostopoulos. Here. And attorneys Amber Samuelson. Here.
All right. Brenda, I believe this is you
Or it's William.
or William.
We had discussed the budget a few weeks back, and we had to do our annual budget appropriations posting, so it's just our public hearing. So to kick off the discussion, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 21-07, the appropriations ordinance.
A second.
William makes a motion to approve ordinance number 21-07, an appropriation ordinance. Jen seconds. Is there any discussion?
Discussion, yes, second.
Mr. Motisi,
Second and discussion, please.
discussions now.
Okay.
As it is a public hearing, the public is welcome to give their input. I just ask that if you like to speak at this time, that you please use the microphone in the podium over here and also use the sign-in sheet to sign in if you'd like to participate or have any comments. And at that time, Rick will also swear you in.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Motisi?
I've looked at the thing and I don't claim to be a pro and understand all the pros and cons of the appropriation thing. I did have a concern on the one thing on here on the appropriation thing. Do we have, I see on here that we have, looking at the wrong page here. I see a capital reserve fund. Is that the 20% protection in case we have to go over?
No, that is, the capital reserve fund on the appropriations is what I put in there in case something should happen, maybe, next year. Every appropriations I do add in that capital reserve fund in case we need to use money out of that. So that we're okay with the county to spend that.
Okay, I thought it was somewhere around 500,000.
I think I told you $500,000 yesterday, but I guess I put in 800,000. I'm sorry. I did this 2 months ago.
Oh, it's 800,000, not
Yes.
500,000.
Right.
Okay. We also had a slight discussion, nothing in depth or anything like that, just to try to get some explanations and further information and address some of my concerns. I thank you for that. In this appropriation, considering and thinking of what we're going to do with this pond problem in the park. Is this the thing that the gross total is somewhere around $750,000?
That's not in this budget.
Okay. What is there a portion of that money that's in this budget?
Yeah, I told you 260 is earmarked for the park project for this year.
Okay, so for the following year, I don't even have a calculator with me. I'm taking a guess it's $400,000. That's going to have to be budgeted plus reappropriated for next year. Is that right, though?
Can you repeat that?
He's asking if the 290 comes off the 750.
That would be a Nate supervisor question. My understanding is that 200 and something thousand has to do with engineering for the pond. It's
The
for
engineering
stays.
has its own line out, I know.
Okay, and then, but that's also including other improvements between the park department as a whole, is my understanding. That might be a better question for John. But
What he said is accurate. So what is your point? What is your question? Do you have a question or you?
Yes,
just
no,
going
no,
around
I
and around?
have a question. I'm not going on and on. I'm going to have a question, point blunt,
All right.
being very blunt, John. $750,000 being spent in the park is a lot of money, okay? I believe, probably get corrected on this, but what do we have, about 750 residences in town? Is that
We have
correct?
2,300 residents.
How many
No,
houses is
that's
that?
residents. I'm talking about the residents.
650 houses? Is that what
It's
it is?
about
About
650.
750? Okay.
650.
650? Okay. When I did all that, quick math, and I'm not a math major, that means that when we get all this money done, spent and planned, in the park, that each resident is going to spend $1,000. And when I divide that, a little over $1,000, when I divide that by 12, it's between $80 and $100 more a month for our residents.
Bill, under that same analogy, the $1 million to redo Plat 10 roads that I will never drive on,
Mhm.
under your quick math, cost me $1,500. So, I mean, it's a shared cost that goes across the entire community. That's what,
And that $750,000 is not in this appropriation.
Is what? It's,
not
I know,
in this
but you've got the 260 in here.
Yeah, but that's for,
So-
that's for all park improvements.
Okay, with all the different language that's used and definitions of things that have to be done and what is planned and being done, I get somewhere that our taxes, that we don't get taxes in Davis Junction. What are they, about $80 a year per
60.
household?
Depends on how much your house is worth.
It's about $60 per 100,000. The last time Brenda and I
Okay,
calculated it about 2 years ago.
Okay, that's down low, okay?
It's low.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. What I'm getting at is that this project, if it gets done, is going to cost money, and each household somewhere around $80 to $100.
This
That's the way I get it.
Bill,
wait, can I?
What
Yeah,
am I
but this
after?
this project has been talked about for at least 10 years. If we don't fix the pond, there's going to be bad
There's
things
already
happening in the
safety
pond.
issues.
not even in this
The,
budget.
the easiest way to clarify this, Bill, we're not raising people's taxes to do this. It's
We
not
don't have
costing them any
taxes.
more
We're not
taxes.
doing that, but we're spending money from the dump that we're relying on to pay for the,
Bill, you're gonna pay to fix it, or you're gonna pay to close it. We have to do one of two things. We either gotta drain the pond and close it, or we gotta fix it. You pick.
I don't think we can close it because it's there for water retention
It's a-
for
yeah, it's a
the land
How much
around
does
the
it
park.
cost to drain it?
I'm going to guess that you're probably looking about
Yeah.
the same, $500,000.
It's there,
right.
it's there for water retention off the farm fields. It's to
Yeah.
slow down the water.
And coming through town.
You
It's
could
coming through.
expand it if you wanted to without quite as much money. I don't know. I'd have to see.
Chris, you've been on the board a couple of years. You had the opportunity to seek out that information. This is where we're at.
I
And if the
understand.
project's not even in this budget,
It's
I don't
not.
understand.
And it's not raising
It's not in the
anybody's
budget.
taxes.
That's,
I don't understand the question.
if you want to argue about the pond.
Okay,
Still-
so is there any questions, any discussion about this appropriation?
anything?
Public?
But we,
Oh, no, whoa.
Please,
You
to the
got to
podium.
go up to the microphone. Please sign in. Address is optional. I do need your name on there,
And
though.
then
Can you just explain what the appropriation is?
Hold on a moment.
If you're just asking a question, you're not
Yes.
asking to testify on
You're not
it.
asking to speak.
Oh, I mean, we'll go from there.
Okay,
okay,
then
so-
you need to be sworn in.
Raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yep.
Go ahead.
All right. Can you just explain what the appropriation is?
So appropriation is our budget.
Yeah.
What we budgeted this year.
it's our legal
And-
spending amount.
Right, and then what we have to send the appropriation, that amount, we always bump it up a little bit in case we do have overages, and then we send that to the county. So the county has a record of what we're going to spend.
Once
How
we,
much is the budget this year?
once we send the appropriations to the county, we don't really look at the
you should have
appropriations
a
again.
general
We have a
idea what
working budget. We have a
Oh,
working
We
budget.
have a line item budget that we use for operating. and-
William, he asked what the budget is.
It's about 3.5 million, if I recall.
Uh, Let's see,
I don't have
Brenda
in
can
front
pull
of
it
me.
up.
Brenda will.
the projected, 3.9.
And
3.9.
what were the village's revenues of last year?
I would have, I can't just pull that out. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Hold on.
Can't pull that
We
out.
can-
of the sky
Look at the
right now.
I can,
Isn't it from this one?
That's this. year.
That's
For this year.
landfill revenue.
all I know is you guys took a loss of $700,000 last year. So how are you gonna make up for that?
We have,
that we didn't,
we have already, this budget, we have our revenues and our expenses. They're coinciding with each
I
other.
can say you had that last year. You guys still went
Okay,
negative.
so if you go and watch the Juneteenth video, there's actually a really good explanation in there. That's where we had the budget discussions. And the discussion essentially was that the landfill revenue last year was decreased greatly beyond our expectations and our budget planning for last year. This year, we have compensated for that, hence the reductions of a lot of services and a lot of things that we have going on for this year's budget. So we did compensate for it this year by reducing our estimated landfill totals by more than, I want to say around half.
Yes,
Yeah, so we've compensated for it this year by understating the
And-
reduction in income.
And by half, you're talking, 2 million?
2 or 3 million,
yes.
yeah.
so
Yes.
we were 700,000 shortfall and we compensated by 2 million.
Okay. I mean,
and that expense, and correct me if I'm wrong, that 700,000 shortfall that you want to word it, 500,000 of that was a capital improvement project that came out of reserves. So though something that appeared to be on paper, negative 700,000, reality, it was about 200.
yeah, I mean, I know how all that works is the bottom line at the end of the day. You still make an expense there, it goes against your, you know. So I mean, at the end of the day, it still was a loss of $700,000.
Yep, and as I said, I highly encourage everybody, whether you're watching this on video later or whether you're standing here now, go watch that June 8th meeting video because there was a good hour-long discussion about the budget, the reasons for the reductions, any potential overages from last year, what we're doing, what we've cut, what percentage we've cut, those types of things are all in that June 8th video.
We've tried to overcompensate for the loss we saw last year because of the way that we saw the revenues of the landfill going. So we just tried to overcompensate.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. And I also know that the life of the contract term is also going to be extended to make up for those losses. So I'm not worried about the short term, you know.
No, we get the same amount of money
Yeah.
from the landfill,
Yeah,
no matter
exactly.
how
I
long
mean,
it takes.
doesn't matter if it's, and you get it all in 2 years or 20 years, you're still going to get the same amount of money.
Right.
So the goal is to reduce the spending.
Yeah, exactly.
Account for that, that's the goal.
And that's what we did.
Yeah, which is totally fine. But I also want to touch on the $815,000 you guys have in the appropriation for parks. You know, what is exactly,
917,
what's that?
917,000.
Okay, well, the one that I received from Sandy said 815, so I guess it went up in
Oh,
the
no.
few weeks that I got it.
Maybe.
All the same.
Nope, you got the final one. Parks is 815,000, not 280.
When are,
280.
on the budget is,
The 917 change.
I don't know what 917 you were
Yeah, it
looking
just says
at. The
parks,
appropriations budget.
Too
$815,280.
many people.
when I do the appropriations, I add on 15 to 20% of what we have in the budget.
Yeah, well, that's
Or-
not in here, so I'm just talking about 815. So if it's higher, that's totally fine. But it sounds like most of it's going to go to the pond. So what exactly is wrong with the pond?
It's, so to clarify, the majority of that's not going to.
It's,
The
So it's
pond,
going to be $800,000, up to $900,000.
the pond is not being repaired this budget year.
Okay.
The issue with the pond is over the past 10 years, we have erosion on the banks. And what used to be a acceptable level depth in the pond, which I think was 8 or
The
10
pond has
feet,
silted in as well.
we're down to like 3 feet around the edges. And it does when it freezes over, it kills off the fish. The pond is used tremendously by the community for fishing. And not only that, the retention from rain runoff.
Well, again, the retention is the biggest thing because it has to be able to handle the capacity of those fields coming off into it. It has to be able to slow down that water. That's why you have the concrete trough that goes through here, is it slows it down, it feeds it out slowly. I mean, that's the idea behind water retention.
Yeah, I mean,
But I mean, it's a lot of land, and as it's silted in, it holds less volume.
I mean, I've never seen the pond, but has it ever
You mean my
actually
working budget?
overfilled?
It has,
Oh.
and it overfills that direction first, and then after that, it's just gonna start running through town. And you
If you-
probably weren't here, but was it 96?
That's before my
Brenda,
time.
flood,
yes, there was a flood 96.
96. They were literally in boats in the streets.
Are you familiar with the park?
No, I've never been to it.
The,
What?
the east side of the park, the east side of the pond, there's a retention wall. The east side of it is the the detention side.
Overflow.
The overflow, and over many years, it actually sat with water that was not supposed to have water, and mosquito infested. We had cattails. We actually had
Two
equipment get
ponds.
stuck in there, mowers getting stuck.
We finally
in there.
put drain tile in it to drain it.
And we were running a pump to drain it. We have a whole,
We put in a structure with a pump in the bottom of it. It's like a manhole with a pump in the bottom.
Running-
Tiles going into it so they could pump the water back into the pond. It just became oversaturated.
Wouldn't these be issues that would have been brought up by engineers when you guys first did the park?
That was
Well, it was. So,
98.
again, so you're talking about when it was
25
done.
years.
Over the time, it has silted in and become shallow.
Yeah, with every body of water does that. I mean,
We're talking
25
22,
years.
23 years. We're not talking yesterday. So
know,
it's,
I'm-
yeah,
I'm-
it's, and the problem is, and I hate to say this out loud, but we keep spending money on roads and not money on the parks. And so now it's become a dire situation for the pond. Instead of spending the $1 million on roads, we need to actually take some money and put it into the parks as it should have been all along.
Is the 815,000, answer this question, is the 815,000 the entire parks appropriation?
Well,
no,
we,
that's payroll.
No, I mean, is it the whole budget
No.
for parks?
yes, it's the whole budget for
Okay,
parks.
but it includes,
Payroll,
Brenda, I
well,
need you to talk into your mic, please.
Brent,
the payroll concessions, service on the grounds, the vehicles that are out there,
Placement equipment.
engineer services for that project, operating
Equipment replacement.
supplies, well, there's
Fuel.
no fuel,
labor.
that's only going.
the park maintenance on the baseball diamonds, which we do get a little revenue back, but there's still, expenses for that too. And equipment. No vehicles this year, but there's equipment.
so if none of the $815,000 is actually set aside to renovate the pond.
Engineering.
And you said 200,000 ish,
For
250
this
is
fiscal
for engineering and all that. What exactly is the other 600,000 going to? I mean, just
We-
sounds like
that's not in
the
this year's budget.
activities.
Put it up on,
I
the
just-
put it up on the
I-
TV.
She can't. I have
Okay,
control.
so I just said
I know you said like
salaries,
concessions,
salaries.
Day-to-day activities. So what exactly are you improving? I mean, you touched on
Maintenance.
This is
maintenance.
this is a yearly working
It-
budget for the parks.
This is to
We have to pay our
It's
employees.
mulch, maintenance, people.
I mean, it could be wrong.
Nah, Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why do you think it's high?
I mean, $800,000 to run a park just sounds outrageous for a small town.
Well, how-
No,
here's-
minus the 200 for the engineering.
Yeah, and no, 100,000 for engineering, 260 for the improvement of the other things that we have in the park.
And if we ended the parks, we'd have far more people here than you.
We do get some income from the parks.
We do.
With
And
the
the parks,
park rent,
I was
the
gonna say, how
shelter
much of the-
rentals, the baseball league, the baseball league basically pays for itself. The people that come and use our park, they pay to use the diamonds.
Then
The-
we'll-
Concession stand
And then we'll
revenue.
get the flag football comes in, soccer.
Outside
pay
of the
for
roads,
that.
that's the most utilized piece of
Yeah.
equipment this
It
village
is.
has.
it is the only thing that brings economic development to this municipality.
We have at least,
How much revenue is the park actually giving the village?
So I'm not going to comment on that. I'm
More
going to
than roads.
I'm going to comment on external revenue. I will tell you on a weekend that when there's a baseball tournament, Dollar General is packed. Our restaurants are packed. That's what's bringing economic impact to our community is that 60-acre park right out back here.
Yeah, the movie in the park.
The movie in the
fireworks, they
park,
don't
the
generate any
fireworks,
revenue
that's what brings
whatsoever.
people here.
I've received phone calls from the restaurants down the corner asking us why we do not inform them while we're hosting tournaments so that they can upstaff their weekend. So, I mean, our businesses, I can't give you an exact dollar amount, how much we
Yeah.
produce and sales tax due to the tournaments and everything else hosted. But I can tell you, speaking with the business owners, they actually get upset when we don't inform them when we are having a park packed for that exact reason.
I
And
guess my big concern is I feel like you guys are focusing on what you guys currently have instead of actually expanding the village where, I mean, you said restaurants and stuff, but in reality it's, we got 2 restaurants, a bar.
We've
And
had a
Dollar General.
$50,000 small business grant for a number of years that we've handed out.
Mhm.
That a couple of businesses have taken advantage of. One used it to start a new business, so we've been proactive.
Yeah, I know you guys are, or you guys might get a Benny's or something, whatever that gas station is. but,
Yeah.
like, what-
people have to want to.
we do have a pending
Yeah, they
zone
have
gas
to, they have to
station.
want to come here. We can't force them to.
I know, exactly. And there's not much here to bring people here. So I'm trying to,
There's
Oh,
2,800 people.
again, the people that come here, our biggest economic our biggest economic factor here is that park, which is why we need to spend some money on it. And I am pro finally spending money on parks as opposed to streets. Because William's right, we spent money out on Plat 10. It's a road I'll never drive. I don't live that far into the subdivision. Anybody who lives in Oakville Crossing will never drive on it either, but they all paid for it. So we need to spend the money on parks. Is there something funny?
Yes,
Please share.
I think it's funny. Everybody uses the street. Whether you drive on my street or not matters not. Everybody uses the street.
Well-
Not everybody uses the park.
How can you
What I-
compare
That's
the two
not-
and
that's
not
not
have the
I'm
same
not
analogy?
comparing the two.
I don't drive Red
One at a
Fox.
time.
I'm
Your
just
analogy
saying,
is everybody uses your street.
yes,
That's
you
not-
don't,
that's
you
not-
don't drive my road, right?
You just said I
But you
do.
drive a road.
You just
in
said
the
I
village.
drive your street.
No, I said, not everybody drives my street, but everybody drives a street within the village. If you
We're going to
live
touch on
in the
roads.
village,
What's
you
going
drive
on with
the
Big
street.
Mound
I'm
at the
sorry, I
railroad?
can't hear you over here.
If we're talking about roads, what's going on with Big Mound at the railroad tracks?
That's unfortunately outside of the
Township.
village. That's the Oakville Counties.
A Scout Township.
Yeah, in Scout Township.
I should know that. I take that route every day.
You want to see roads, drive down here. Everywhere you see
in
beautiful
reality,
roads, it's
I-
ours. Everywhere you see less than nice roads, it's the township.
In reality, it's not the township, either, it's the railroad. They have to maintain a crossing within 10 feet of each side of the railroad. So even if you call it township, they're just going to defer you to the railroad.
Well, cool. I think that's everything I had.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Any further discussion or public? Mr. Motisi?
Question, Mr. Mayor. I know, okay, can we use some of that water by pumping it back into the park when it needs
actually is.
watering for
It
the
is.
grass?
It is. So our current park supervisor, Nate Hill, is very into reusing and recycling the amenities that we can or the things that we
Yeah.
can. And so he actually uses that water to irrigate and for the fields.
Instead of using
Yeah.
water. on the
Instead of
website.
using water out of the hydrant, he's using water from the pond.
Mhm. The right, John, that we take water out of there and, I don't know, you know.
Sandy is correct with her statement, Bill. Yes.
Okay. Well, I thought maybe you would have commented on it. Thank you.
Why would I comment on when she hit it right on the head?
It's your park, not
We would be
hers.
redundant. Bill.
I pay taxes there
Okay.
too.
Stop being. Any further discussion? Public? We have motion, we had second, we've had discussion. Roll call.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill,
No?
John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
No,
William.
Yes.
Passes 4-2.
6:23 PM.
If you want to go ahead and get out of this one, we can.
Oh, we still have public comment.
All right.
I'm going to follow my agenda.
All right. We need.
Public. Not regarding the, not hearing any?
Motion to adjourn.
say,
Thank you.
John makes a motion to adjourn. Chris seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned at 6:23.